Welcome to the Echo Tips Podcast. This is episode number 42. It's a pleasure to have you here with us today. Today's theme or topic is going to be the NFB Newsline Skill. That's the NFB Newsline Skill. So this is really an episode that's kind of particular maybe to those that have visual impairments or who are totally blind. NFB stands for National Federation of the Blind, and their Newsline Skill allows you to get news in magazines. So if you don't think that's something that's applicable to you, you can skip this episode and listen to the next one. But for many of you who fall into that category or have family members that might have visual impairments, this might be really a cool thing for you to learn about. So episode 42, the NFB Newsline. But before we get into the meat of the matter, we'll go to a brief message about our podcast, and then we'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. All right, welcome back. For those of you who are new, I'm David Ward, of Assistive Technology Instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill. It's a pleasure to have you here, especially if this is your first time listening. And as I mentioned in our little opening, we're going to be talking about the NFB Newsline today, the NFB Newsline. But before we get into the meat of that matter, it'd be good for you to mute your microphone on your Amazon Echo, especially if that's what you're listening to this tutorial on, or if you have one in the room. We don't want to be me giving the commands here in studio and on the recording, and it'd be triggering your unit at home. So if you find your Amazon Echo, there should be some buttons on the top. One has a picture of a microphone with a slash through it. That'll shut our ears off. If you push that button, it'll turn the ring on the top red if you have a traditional Echo. However, if you have one with a screen, such as the Amazon Echo Show, if you have the screen facing you, there should be some buttons on the top edge rim, and the one on the far left should be the microphone button. And it'll do a similar thing. If you press it, it'll make a thump sound and put a red bar across the bottom. So I'll just give you a moment to do that. And before we proceed, all right, well, let's press on. So, NFB Newsline. First, we need to address some of the things that you can do. Well, maybe before I get into that, maybe I should describe the NFB Newsline. The NFB Newsline has been around for a number of years across different states. It has, I believe, at present over 500 newspapers and periodicals. So magazines that you can listen to. Now, as Newsline kind of implies in the old days, and you can still do it today, you can call a phone number, either a local number or a 1-800 number once you're registered, and you can pop in your PIN number, and then boom, you're logged in. Now, you only have to do that the first time. After that, the system will remember your caller ID and just automatically log you in as David Ward or whoever. And from there, you can listen to all those newspapers, including for our local listeners here, the Roanoke Times, which recently was added to the venue there, Virginia newspapers. But a lot of really other cool things that you can listen to there. You can also access it via an app on your smartphone, such as your iPhone. There's an NFB Newsline app. And then you can also have papers sent to your email inbox as well. Like I could have the Roanoke Times sent to my email inbox and read it with a screen reader there as well. So that's a piece of technology that the blind often use. As I mentioned, this is really geared towards those with vision impairments to access that material. So let's just start from scratch. I cleared out my installation on my Amazon Echo of the skill called the NFB Newsline. So I'm going to invoke it for the first time, and then we'll have you'll see how it kind of works. So it's pretty cool. All right. Now, I will mention in their actual documentation, they usually say use the phrase National Federation. I've also found that typically NFB Newsline works, but if you find that one doesn't work, then use the other, okay? So I'm going to give it a shot here. We're going to open it for the first time. Alexa, open the NFB Newsline.
Welcome to NFB Newsline. I don't recognize this device. In order to use NFB Newsline, you need to log in as a valid subscriber. To do that, just say, "Ask National Federation to log in," and I'll guide you through login steps.
Log in.
What is your 6-digit identification number? What is your 4-digit security code? Welcome to NFB Newsline. Hello, Irene Peterson. What would you like to read?
Read Roanoke Times.
Welcome back to NFB Newsline, brought to you by the National Federation of the Blind along with state sponsors. Hello, this is NFB Newsline for Virginia, sponsored by the Virginia Department for the Blind and Vision Impaired. For more information, please contact John Halverson at 703-379-1141. Be sure to check out the Virginia Local Information Channel for topics of local interest. Reading in Roanoke Times dated February 20th, 2019. In the extra section of the Roanoke Times, there are 27 articles in this section. Article 1. Attentive Knights advance with victory. HS Boys Basketball.
Alexa,
Cave Spring.
Stop. Okay, so that probably gives you a brief idea of what you can do. Now you might have said Irene Peterson was a former instructor that had registered this for our nonprofit, so it still says Irene there. But anyway, that gives you a little idea. Now, once you do the initial login, you won't have to do that anymore. It remembers your PIN code. But I wanted to give you an idea. So you want to make sure you're registered with the NFB program, and if you're already registered with the National Library Services for the Blind, they can just do an automatic cross match. You just give them your name and address, and they can do it over the phone, I think, or by email. Otherwise, you might have to fill out some documentation and have a doctor's note. Our nonprofit here in the Roanoke Valley, the New Vision program at Goodwill, is also a contributing partner there, and so we can help you register if you register for our normal services, free services. All our services are free. We can get you into the program as well. But let me just give you an idea of some of the other commands you can do. So you can, of course, New York Times, lots of other things. Now you could say, now you could layer your commands together. You could say, and I'm just going to say A lady here so I don't trigger the one in the office here. You could say, A lady asked National Federation to read the Wall Street Journal. A lady asked the National Federation to read the next section. So you could skip a section. You could do a lot of cool stuff. You could say play previous section. You could simply say next or previous, it looks like, to skip articles. You could, now this might be the most handy thing for you to know. You could say a lady, or once you're in the skill, you could say ask National Federation to give me instructions. Or if you're already in there, you could just say, give me instructions. And so she'll probably give you a breakdown of all the major instructions then if you did that. I will mention, though, you have some other things. You're like, I don't know about that voice, the computer voice. You could actually change the voice. So you could say, a lady asked National Federation to change voice. You could say, a lady asked National Federation to read a little faster. Or a lady asked National Federation to read a little slower. So you have a lot of really cool commands. You can change the voices. You can change the speed. Oh, this is a really cool one. A lady asked National Federation to email this article. So maybe you're listening to an article right then in that moment, and you'd like to have a copy of to peruse a little more carefully, or check the spelling of a name, or maybe a website that's mentioned in an article or something. You could do that right then. Give a verbal command, and assuming your email is on file with your registration, boom, you'll get an email. So that is so so neat, so fun, and a great way to process a whole bunch of great information and stuff. I should mention it's just not print materials. There are some websites like Wired Magazine and other websites that have a lot of their content on their main site. It can pull from a lot of those as well too. You can get a full listing by just Googling National Federation of the Blind Newsline, and then checking their list of available resources. Also, you could Google NFB Newsline Skill, and I think it's about usually the second or third listing on Google. You can find these commands list right off the NFB's website, all these different, because once you get into a skill that has these many features, you want to know what all the different commands. But I think that help command would give you a good idea, a good breakdown of what those would probably be. All right. Well, that kind of sums up this example for today. Next time, we're going to be dealing with a new feature of the Amazon Echo, that is using Skype. Skype, which is a calling service and even a video conferencing service, using Skype. So until that time, it's time to turn your microphone back on your Amazon Echo. I'm David Ward signing off for the New Vision program at Goodwill, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.